Let's start the workshop.
Good evening, everyone, and welcome back to the third workshop organized by ACM-DBIT, a hands-on workshop on Illustrator. Designing is the core of almost everything and anything now. It's a fact that how much ever efforts you put behind any work, at the end it comes down to the visuals because that is what attracts a larger crowd. And for you to have an upper hand in designing, today we have with us the design heads of ACM-DBIT, Hariharan and Iyer and Slade Ferrao to take you through the various tools of Illustrator. Before we begin with the workshop, I want to add one more thing. If you have any doubts or you want them to slow down a bit while teaching, do not hesitate. Please do unmute and let them know, or just type it in the chat section. So without any further delay, let's begin with the workshop. Over to the design heads.
Thank you, Atira, for those wonderful words. So guys, before starting with the workshop, let me tell you what we are going to learn in this workshop. So the first section of this workshop will be based on basic tools of Adobe Illustrator, which will be taken by Slade. And in the second part of the workshop, I'll be teaching you logo designing in Adobe Illustrator. But before that, let me give you a brief introduction to Adobe Illustrator. Guys, Adobe Illustrator is a vector drawing tool developed by Adobe.com. It is a paid tool, so you can buy the licensed version on the official site. It is recorded as one of the best vector designing tool and is also used by most of the graphic designers. There's not only graphic designers, but in these days, Adobe Illustrator is being used a lot for UI and UX designing. Before prototyping, the design part is done on Illustrator these days. Illustrator is also used by other designers, like for poster making purposes, for making banners, for making logos, etc. Adobe Illustrator users also pretty much are involved in freelancing. So many websites like Vector Stock and FreePic also give you money for your illustrations. So this was pretty much about Adobe Illustrator. Guys, this being a hands-on workshop, I would request all of you to open your Adobe Illustrator, and if you have not downloaded the required files for the workshop, you can download it. The link is given on the WhatsApp group description. Guys, it is a humble request to all of you. Please make this an interactive session. You can stop us wherever you need help regarding the tools or anything. Thank you. Over to Slade.
Hello, am I audible?
Yes.
Okay, thanks Hari, thanks Atira for those lovely words. So we're going to start off with teaching out the basics of Adobe Illustrator. As soon as you'll open Illustrator, this is going to be the first thing I'll see. So in today's workshop, we're going to be making this penguin, as y'all can see on the screen. And to make that, we're going to use Illustrator, obviously. And so firstly, I'd like to tell you, if any of you have downloaded the version from the cracked version that we've shared the link to, if you're going to create new or custom size, or if you're going to file and click new here, the only new thing you're going to get is a box. So don't waste time on that. We'll just go straight off to A4 size. So after clicking on A4 size, you wait for a while. It'll start up. Okay, so now that you have this A4 size tools, you can see there are different tools over here. For this part of the workshop, we're going to be working on the essentials. So in case you all have got yours on painting or any other things, just change it to essentials. And some of you all may have just a single row of tools right here. To change that, you have to go to Window, you go to Toolbar, and from Basic, you change it to Advanced. The basic ones will have basically it has all the advanced tools, it's just that they are hidden. Like if you go here, you'll have the anchor point tool and stuff, which in advanced has got it all right in front of you. So moving forward, let's get something into this project of ours so that we can start off. So we'll go to File, and we have to import something, but there is no option of import here, because in Illustrator, the import version is called Place. So go ahead and click on Place, and you all should go to, I think so it's Assets 1, Workshop Part 1, and you will find a file called Penguin there. Just click on it, and before you go any further, click on Template here. Make sure Template is ticked. This is important. And place that in your project. So now that you have the penguin in your project, you want to resize it because it's a bit too big. It's coming out of the sheet of paper that we have. So the first thing what you would do is go to Edge and like probably resize that way, but nah, does not work. You got to go to Layers, and over here you will see your template penguin. This is what you need to click on, and you'll see there's a lock over here, which means basically no matter what you do, it's not going to change. So you click on that lock, and now when you try to change it, you can go and you can change the different sizes. So to make sure it's on the same size, I'm going to click on Shift, and I'm going to change it. So when you hold Shift, it'll, no matter what, like if I don't have Shift on, I can change it to any size. But if I keep Shift held, I can only change it to the size that I wanted to change. So I'm going to go and change it up to there. Okay. Okay, so now the first tool that most of you all will already be using is the selection tool. And this is basically like your mouse. No matter what you do, this is your mouse. If you want to select something, move it around, do that. That's your mouse. We'll go ahead and lock this layer once again so that it won't move around with my mouse in case I need to move it. And now to create these things, if you go, okay, to zoom in and to zoom out, you have two options. You either do it the long way where you click on this, and you can either zoom in and then you click on Alt and you click again, you can zoom out. The other way of doing it is you can click on Control and plus, or Control and minus. The minus and plus is beside your backspace on your keyboard. So if you go plus will zoom in, go minus will zoom out. The other way to do it is you click on Alt and you just scroll out or scroll in. That's the easiest way, which I use. Another thing is, suppose you're like zoomed in so much. I don't want to see this part of his face. I want to see like probably his feet or something. So I'm going to click on space and then I'm going to turn. So as soon as if you're on your selection tool and you click on space, you'll notice that my cursor turns into a hand. And when I click, it'll grip onto that and it'll keep turning it, it'll keep moving it from wherever I need to move it. So these are kind of like the shortcuts that are there. Another thing that I would like you all to enable is if I go to edit, no, sorry, if I go to view, and you all can see here smart guides is enabled. Make sure that smart guides is enabled. Most of the time it comes of great use, because if you want to set something onto a certain corner, smart guides will help you and it'll fix it onto that corner, so you won't have any much problem. So make sure smart guides is on. And moving forward, let us now create a vector art for this penguin here. So we'll take this tool. It's called the rectangle tool. And basically what you have to do is first you have to click on this layer, so that we're working on that layer, not on the template. Go back to properties and take the vector tool and just draw a random rectangle. You can draw it however big you want. I'm just gonna scale it to proper size and draw that. Okay, now you can't see anything. You can't see how much is the height, how much is the length. So you click on this, sorry, you go to your direct selection tool, you click on this, take out stroke and take out fill. So you'll notice that there's this thing here which means none, which means it won't have any fill inside. But now if you don't have any fill, you won't know where your line is either. So we're gonna put a stroke on it of black. That's gonna create a nice border around it, and you can see exactly how your penguin is working. So we'll set this up to the penguin's height and his width. And okay, now you have got this thing done. And the first thing that would come to our heads when we see this circular thing is that, okay, fine, let's just change this to the ellipse tool and make a nice circle over there. But no, in Illustrator, you can just go ahead and click on the path to select the rectangle and just move here, and you can see these circles, right? You drag these circles in, and that's it. But the thing is, right now it's changed these two sides as well. I don't want these two sides to change. I want these to be the same. So I'm going to Control Z to undo what I just did, and I'm going to click on this. Now you notice that now this circle, what was usually this, is now changed into an inverted version of itself. So now when you click on that and move it, drag it in, it's gonna only move that section. So same way we do it for this side, move this section. Okay. Now we need another rectangle for that part. So let's make all the rectangles on this sheet. Another rectangle here. Another rectangle there. Okay, going back to this, click on this, click on it, and drag inside. As simple as that. Okay, now we've done with all the rectangles over here. If you all want, you can do the ground and the water as well. But I'm gonna move forward. So I'm gonna take the ellipse tool to draw the eye. Ellipse is basically a circle. If you hold it around anywhere, you'll get like different angles of circles. And when you get this plus sign in the middle of it, or the two lines in the middle of it, that means it is a perfect circle. You'll notice that the width and the height are the same. But now I don't have much time. I want to like get a circle fast. So I'm just going to click on shift, and that will automatically spring it up to a circle. So no matter how much I move it, it's always going to spawn a circle. So I'm going to let that be. I'm going to take it, put it in the center. Still don't like it. Now again, when you're changing the height of this, again, make sure you got shift on. You have shift clicked, and you increase the circle. Okay. Now the next things are the wing, the beak, and his tail. Oops, sorry, I forgot to do this. Okay, so now to get the triangle, you don't have any triangle tool here, but you have the polygon tool. And what the polygon tool will do is it will spawn six-sided polygon, but we don't need that. We need a triangle. So let's do Control Z, and let's just click randomly on the screen. Just click anywhere, you should get this box. Now this will say side 6. A triangle's got 3 sides, so we'll set up to 3. And let the radius be any number. We can change that whenever we want. So, oh, that's too small. Let's make it big and zoom out. And now I want to put this triangle here, but I can't. So when you know when you're playing this, if you notice what you're doing, um, if you change these two, you'll notice that the two adjacent sides, that is these two sides, will always have the same height, and this height can be changed. So right here we need these two sides to have the same height, and the other height can be whatever it is. So I'm gonna rotate it. To rotate it, you'll have this small gap right here, where in the middle of the anchor and where you have this cursor, you'll have this small thing which will have like this angle. It'll only spawn if you're close to these squares over here. So you click on that and you just rotate it around there. You set it up there, you make it a little small as per your requirement. And I'm gonna put mine a bit further. Okay, so that looks good enough. And what we're gonna do is now you can see this circle again. The thing about triangles is that you cannot change only one side. If I click on this, nothing works. It does not change only one side. So you have to change all the three sides of the triangle. So we're gonna click on this, and this is gonna bring it past. Okay. The next thing is now we wanna have two more triangles, and rather than going through this polygon tool again, creating a polygon, what we'll do is we just take this triangle. We'll do Control C to copy, Control V to paste. Move it here, Control C to copy, Control V to paste again, and move that here. Now do the same thing for these two. Make sure they look good enough. We're just gonna leave it that way. Okay, so now when we actually move this, you can move our thing by clicking. Okay, so if you want to move your screen and you're like using a mouse, you can just click on Control and you can scroll. It'll move sideways, and normal scrolling will move it straight. If you want to zoom in, Alt and zoom in, and Shift does not do anything. So now let's go ahead and make this polygon right here. This is a 5-sided polygon. So again, go to Polygon tool, click randomly anywhere. Get this, change it to 5. Click OK. Now a small thing will open up. Make it big. Click on Shift so that it's perfectly. And there we go. For the star, you have an automatic star tool over here. You just click on that and you drag it. And you click on, so okay, another thing about Shift is that when you are spawning your star in, you have a random angle, but I want it to be perfectly straight. So I'm gonna click on Shift and I'm just gonna turn it a bit. It's gonna always be straight. How much ever you rotate your thing, it's gonna be straight always. So keep that in mind when you're making a star tool. Click on V to go into your selection tool and place it somewhere here. A bit smaller. Okay. Now I want to place this in the center of this polygon right here. So I'm going to click on this. Having this selected, I'm going to click on Shift and click on this other outer part. Now I have both of them selected at once. So what I'm going to do is over here, you see this align option in properties. Go and click on the center one for both. So now it's at the center of this polygon and it will not move. So click on that again, click on this, and let's group them. So to group them, you have to go to Object and you have to go to Group over here. Click on that. Now you group them. So now, for example, if I want to move this, like say I'm moving the star, but I want to move both of them together. So I'm going to take the star, I'm going to drag it away, but no, both of them are going to come together. Move it back here, place here, zoom out. That looks good enough. And the other parts are left of the penguin are the little hair, his eyes, and the grass. So for all these three things, we're going to use the line segment tool. Okay, so the line segment tool is pretty easy. You just click on it, you go here and you click and drag. Click and drag. That's the line segment tool. Same thing for here, you just click, drag, drag, click, click, drag. Okay. Now you've made these three things, but you find it a little bit too dull. Okay, to make the eye, another thing is to make the eye, you can either do the arc tool, which will create an arc. But the thing is, if you want to make an arc tool, like say I'm gonna create an arc from here to here, I'm not getting exactly what I want. I'm not getting that proper arc. I have to actually create an arc in a random angle and then hope for the best that it'll come and fit properly over there. So what I'm gonna do is I'm gonna go here and I'm gonna select the line segment tool again and just draw a line from here to here. Okay. Then what I'm going to do is to make that arc over there, I'm going to select the curvature tool and just go somewhere to the center where you can see path written and raise it up a bit. So you have your eye now. Now you can do the same thing for this piece of grass. Click over there and raise it up. Maybe raise this up a bit. That looks good. Okay, so now for the eyes and the grass, I want them to look a little bit better. So what I'm going to do is I am going to click on path, click on the grass and click on everything. So now I have these three things. I want them to look a little bit more dynamic, a little bit more better. So I'm going to go over here and you'll see stroke right here. You click on stroke and you get this whole box of options. So here we have the different caps. The first one's called the butt cap, the second one's called the round cap, the third one's called the projecting cap. And these caps basically will work for the ending of your thing. But we won't look into that. We'll go into that a little later when we're doing the hair. But for the eyes and the grass, you see something here called profile and says uniform. You click on this drop down box and you will get a list of different other profiles. You can click on any of them. I'm gonna go with this one. So now when you actually have a look at the grass, you're gonna notice it's a little bit more, thin at the edges and fatter at the center. And same way with the eye. You notice that the eye is also a little bit more good looking than earlier. For the hair, what we're going to do is we're going to change it from stroke, we're going to put it to round cap. So now when you go close and you see, you'll notice that it's got a rounded edge. On the other hand, if you have the butt cap or the projecting cap, it'll just have those two things. So we're going to set on the round cap and leave it that way. Coming up next, let's quickly draw the rectangles for the base. Let's go like that. Like that. Okay, and a few bubbles maybe for the water. Okay, now let's go ahead and color the whole thing because colors are good. So let's click on this path right here. You'll have properties of fill. So when you click on fill and you go black, the whole penguin's gone. So what we're gonna do is to get to see these things that are inside are still there, but you just can't see them. So what we're gonna do is we're gonna go over here and go to view, and you'll see an option called outline view. You can do Control Y as a shortcut, but this is where it is, the outline view. You click on that and you can see the whole outline of everything inside. So for right now, we need the tail to be black. We need the wing to be black. We need the outer part of this to be black. So we click on all three so we get them together. And we go to stroke, we go to fill, select black, select no stroke. It's always good to have no strokes because if you have a stroke, then it'll just make your vector a little bit more untidy. And we'll click this, we'll fill it with white, no stroke again. And okay, now when you go back to your normal GPU view, you'll be like, what's this? I need the star to be a white color. But if I go over here to fill and I change it to white, it's gonna change both to white. So this is one thing that groups do. So when you group an object, you have to actually enter the group to make changes to that individual object. So to make changes to this group, I have to actually double click it, and then you notice everything else goes blur. Or basically everything else becomes a lighter shade. So go and zoom into that, click on this, and now you can do whatever you want. If you change this individually, it'll move away. So we don't want that to happen. We just want it to be a white color star, stroke none. And now to exit your group, you got this arrow right here. You just click on this arrow to go back one level, and you click on it once, you go back to your normal project. Now go back to view, outline. The eye has to be white. So let's change that fill to white. Stroke none. And next thing is this. We change this fill to maybe a nice beak color like that. And stroke none. Same thing with the legs. We change the legs to maybe this color of yellow and this one to a lighter shade of that same color. And stroke for both will be none. Okay, so now we can go Control Y, go back to our view, and this looks pretty good. A nice penguin. And let's change the color of this ground to a icy color. So we go stroke, none, fill, nice ice color, and the water to a watercolor. Stroke, none, fill. Okay, so now we have this whole thing, and we want to just add like a nice background. So fun fact about Illustrator is that you cannot have a background color. So your background color is always going to be white. You cannot change that. So what we're going to do is we're going to have to actually create a rectangle for this as well to change the background. So you go right here and you will notice intersect. You notice a point called intersect. But if you zoom in, you get an anchor point, which I'm not getting for some reason. But let's go back out. Intersect to anchor. Okay, now you have this whole thing. Don't worry about it. Just change the fill color to maybe purple. Okay, just set it to, you set it to none for right now. Maybe a dark blue. Oops, sorry, that's the same as the water. Yeah. Stroke, no stroke. And now I cannot see the rest of my project. So what am I going to do is I'm going to click on this, and you'll see an arrange option right here. So click on that and send it to back, because this has to be right behind. This is the background. We don't really need the background much. And if you notice again, the beak, oops, sorry, stroke none. But again, you got to send the beak, arrange it to center back, send this one to back, and then again, click on this and send it to back. So now you'll have all this and looks pretty good. So let's move forward and learn about gradients. So to make this black background, I mean the gray background a bit more dynamic like this, like to have a nice background like that, we're going to go back here and we're going to select. So the fastest way to select a gradient is just click on this. Over here you will get gradient options. The one that I've used, you can use any of these. It doesn't really make a difference. Linear gradient and radial gradient are the ones I find most useful. For this one, I'm going to use radial gradient, and you'll immediately spawn up with this. So what you do is you go here to fill, and you'll get gradient options. So you click on that and close fill, and now you'll get different options. So you can change the starting color maybe to a shade of blue, maybe a lighter blue. Okay, and the ending color to maybe a shade. Oh, yeah, an ending color maybe to a shade of dark purple. Okay, now we need to invert this because we want the lighter purple to be inside and the dark blue to be outside. So you just, to invert it, you just click on this button. Done. So now we want the gradient to go from this side of the screen to that side of the screen. So what we're going to do is we're just going to click over here and we're just going to extend it. There we go. We got a nice big gradient going on around here. And yeah, so now after the gradient is there, we need to get in a few stars and stuff like that. So for stars, what you're gonna have to do is you're gonna have to go here, click on ellipse tool, and maybe just zoom in a bit and draw like a small thing like that. or you can even draw something with like probably one, one. Okay. Okay, now that's really small. So what you're gonna do is you're gonna go over here, and after you have got this selected, you're gonna go to object, and you're gonna go to, sorry, you're gonna go to window, and you're gonna go to brush. Now when you have this option right here, you can go to brush and you can click on this. There's an option for new brush. So you click on new brush and you'll have 5 different options. You go to scatter brush because stars are always scattered around the sky, right? Go to scatter brush, click on OK. Sorry. Okay, so now that you have the scatter brush thing right here, let's name it stars, and let's change this from fixed to random. Let's change all from fixed to random because it's better to have them all randomly placed rather than fixed. So from 100, let's change this to some small number like 10, or even 5 will do, and change this to something around 30% because we want it to be more populated, and it'll be better the more populated it is. Let's change this to something like 1000, and this may be 1500. This will change to 500, and this 1500. You can do whatever you want with these numbers, they don't really matter. And just click on OK. So now that you have this new brush, click on the brush, and then okay, you can delete these two things right here. You can just go to select tool and click on that delete. Okay, now that you have this brush here, click on Alt, zoom out. Now what you're gonna do is you're gonna find the brush tool over here, and then you just go and you just like make this. Whatever you want to do, you can do. You can actually don't click on it for too long. It'll make put a lot of load on your CPU, and so just like scatter it around this way. You'll get a nice star effect after a while. And now you notice that some of these stars have come out and you don't really like them being outside. If you have OCD issues like me, that'll affect you a lot. So what we're going to do is we're going to go back to rectangle tool, create a rectangle from here, and go all the way down here maybe. Okay. And okay. Now that you have this created, okay, you go to your direct selection tool, you click on this, and you shift and click on this together. Then you get an option for make clipping mask. So when you click on that, you'll notice that all the stars outside will go. And when you go to layers, that clipping mask will be here. So if you go into clipping mask, you can actually see what you clipped and what is unclipped. So that's good to know. And now that you have your stars, you have the penguin, you have everything. Let's do one more thing and move this line behind. Center. Okay. So now let's create the moon. The moon again, really simple. You just go here and you hold shift and create like a big ball. You can create to however big size you want. It doesn't really matter. And fill it with a bright white color, no stroke. And okay, now if you go back to what I've made here, and if you look, you can see the moon actually has like a nice, beautiful shadow and a nice, bright glow coming out of it. So let's go back here and let's do that. So to get the glow around the moon, you're gonna have to go here to this FX thing over here. You can choose an FX. So once you're over here, you go to stylize, and you'll see two options called inner glow and outer glow. We go to outer glow for right now. We click on outer glow, and you can do whatever you want to this. You can set the opacity to 100. Sorry, and blur maybe to like 20. Click on OK. You can do whatever you want. It will give you a really nice glow on the background. You can work, you can change, do whatever you want to that. Doesn't really matter. But now since we have the moon in the background, we also need to have a shadow for this guy and for the water and stuff, right? So let's create the shadow for that. we'll go ahead and just color the grass. I don't like them looking black right now. Okay, another cool thing about the curvature tool, I mean about curves in this, is that if you go to fill it up, like say I fill this with dark green color, you'll actually notice that it fills the line from where I started to the line from where I ended and the whole curve around it. And let's go to stroke and make this maybe a lighter green like that. So now you outclick it, you get really good grass effect. And that's all like the basic tools of Illustrator. So let's create the shadow of this guy. So for that, we're going to have to go and use a tool called the shape builder tool. Now, if you're like using older versions like probably Adobe Illustrator 2015, 16, 17, 18, I don't really know when it came up, but I think so it came up in the 2020 version. But if you click on this, is a really helpful tool. And what you have to do is first you have to select what all you want to. Sorry, but okay. So what I'm going to do is to avoid continuously moving the moon, the stars in the background. I'm just going to create a new layer and set that layer right here. You can double tap and change the name of the layer. So let's change some like BG background. And now I want to move the moon, the stars, and this and the background color from this layer one to the background layer. So what I'm going to do for that is I'm going to have to open this layer, and I'm going to see all these different things. So the stars I know is my clipping is what I've clipped. So that will be over here. I can click on that. Now I have these two selected because the rectangle background is selected and this is selected. Now I need to find the moon. The moon is an ellipse which is glowing, so you'll see that outer glow around it. And you click on that as well. Now all you have to do is just drag this and put it on BG. So now the moon has gone to BG. You drag this, put it in BG, and you drag this and you put it in BG. So now those three things are gone to background. And if you open the background layer, you might have to do a little bit of setting, like putting this up and yeah, that's good. So this is all we have to do. So you can create a new layer. You can create as many layers as you want. And now since I don't want to move this at all, like I don't want to affect background at all, I'm done, I'm satisfied with my background. I'm going to click on this thing over here. There'll be a blank space, which will spawn a lock over there. Which means now no matter what I did, if you all remember when I used the template lock, it did not move anything. So now even if I try to move it, it won't move anything. So now when I take my selection tool and I go and I select this whole thing, I'll get the whole penguin selected. And now I will go to my shape builder tool and just click and drag to whatever piece I want to merge together. So right now I want to merge, oops, okay, yeah. So another thing is when you have a shape builder tool, your fill color will get put into that. So we go back and change it to black. It's better. So you can actually click on it, it's black. There we go. So that looks good. And now when we move this around, this whole thing is one piece. So earlier earlier there was one triangle over here, one triangle over here, and then you have the whole rectangle. Now it's just one piece. So let's move back to its original place and let's duplicate this. It's Control C, Control V. Now that we have this duplicated, we will just go and place it somewhere here. So the moon is right here, which means the shadow from the moon will be coming down here. So we go down here and we place it like this maybe. Like that. It'll look fine. So now we have this right here, and now we'll again need the shape builder tool. So we go ahead and select all this, go to shape builder tool, change your fill color to this. Okay, so now remember earlier when I put everything together, that time it all changed to the background gradient color. So what you can also do with shape builder tool is if you select the color that you want, you can just go over here and just select this, and it'll change to that color. So nothing else really gets changed, only that thing that you select, or if you like select multiple, it'll change to that color. So we go back, click here. That looks pretty good. And let's delete this now. So now our penguin has got a nice shade. He looks kind of bald, but okay. And let's go ahead and make some shadows for the water and the rest of his face. Let's go alt out. And you may get this thing. That's because it'll take time to load, because the glow effect actually takes a lot of it makes your computer run a lot. Just click on that. If you go to, you can't change it right now, sorry. But yeah, so let's go back and let's take this tool, line segment tool. Let's go to that point right there, and maybe like, draw something like this. So now that's a line drawn there. You can change the stroke to black so you can see it better. Okay, now again, select, go to this, select these three layers. And now with this shape builder tool, go back to fill. And okay, first you got to set stroke to none, otherwise you're going to get some ugly strokes over there. Go to fill and put this like a darker color, maybe this dark. Go out and click on that. So now you, so now your water's got some nice shading over there. And we can go back and just delete this line. We don't really need it anymore. We'll have to do a couple of deletes. Oops. Okay, we need this as a stroke of black, set it to. Okay. So now we have that shadow. Now we want the shadow on his beak. So we're gonna go close again. And the same thing, just use your line tool and maybe draw something else. Maybe the shadow would come from there. Then go down and go to your direct selection tool, select everything. Shape builder tool again and just change your fill color to maybe a darker beak color and do that. That's it. So that's it for a shape builder tool. You can delete all this again and maybe give him a smile. Okay, so now that you're done with this, you may want to be like, okay, fine, I want a different method of creating stars. I don't want to use the brush tool and kind of see it run around and stuff like that. So there is actually a different way of making stars. What you can also do is you can go to window and you will find something called as the pattern options. So firstly, to select the pattern options, you're going to have to sponsor a few patterns. So let's say, for example, we go here and take the star tool. For right now, I'm gonna block this. I'm gonna unsee this. And I'm gonna unsee this as well. I don't know that. I'm gonna take this. I'm gonna take my rectangle tool. I'm gonna create a new background. Right there. That's a new background. And now I want this background to have a lot of stars in it. So firstly, to see the stars, I'm gonna set this color to black. And strokes, none. Go back down, and now when you see this, you can actually spawn small stars. Maybe if you want to have them circular, you can spawn circles. You want to have them star shaped, you can spawn star. Spawn like a small thing right there. Zoom in, change the fill color to white. Maybe Control C, Control V, Control V. You can spawn like multiple stars right here, and you can make them all different sizes and shapes. Okay, so now that you have this whole cluster of stars here, you want this to spawn all over the sheet. So what we're going to do is we're going to go back up and we're going to click on this, this, and this. And we're going to go here to effects and maybe, okay, we can group them up actually. That would be a better idea. Direct selection tool and oops. Oh my God. Okay, now we can go to object and group. Now that this whole thing is one group, you can go to window, go back to pattern options, and wait, we can't click on anything. So what we're going to do is to start pattern option, to actually go over here and make a pattern. So you click on make pattern, and now you will get like the new pattern that is swatches panel. Basically means that if you've created a pattern, you can actually go here and go to the swatches panel and check it out. Okay, so for right now, you're going to have to see the pattern from here because the whole screen will turn to white, but that will go away in some time. So you click on OK, you like this, probably 9 by 9 if you want to see more. This is how your pattern is going to be looking, which is kind of not that great because it keeps repeating every time. That's the reason why I use the brush tool. Okay, so close that up and go. Oops. and that's it. Click on that, go to window, pattern options, make new pattern. Okay, you have this. We saw the preview earlier, the 9 by 9. It's like the biggest option. Looks pretty good. So let's go and save copy. So let's name this as stars. Say okay. And the new pattern has been added, what's fine. Great. Now let's go back and go out of the pattern list. And now we can actually delete this. We don't delete it. So we're gonna go here to we're gonna click on this and we're gonna go here to fill. And you will see here you have stars. When you click on that, you'll have a complete white screen. We're gonna have to create a new block right here. Anchor. There we go. So for your pattern to actually come on it, if you put it on a normal, if you put it on your normal background, you will get the whole thing as white. That's because it changes the background color to null. And when you put it on a new background, you get something like that. But if you view this with the penguin, uh, for example, where am I? Okay, if you view this with the penguin, it doesn't really look that great. So what we're gonna do is we're gonna go here, right click, arrange, center back, cancel. Here, arrange, center back. Okay, so this doesn't really look that great. It's too out on your eyes and stuff like that. You don't really want to see this. So we won't use patterns for this. We'll just stick to what we had. That is a nice background color that we had earlier. So we're gonna click on all these things for the background to go away. Do that. There we go. So now to end this session, I would like to also show a bit some few things about to end my part of the session. I'd like to show us a few things that the eye probably you could have like a more better glow and a better thing like you can see in this picture. The eye's got a nice glow. He's looking really happy. So we go here and we'll actually it's pretty simple. Go to the ellipse tool, click on shift and make 2 circles, any size, it doesn't matter. Go back, all zoom in, make another circle, maybe that much. And now set the circle just somewhere here. It's good enough for an eye. Go to properties and fill color will be black for both the circles. Okay. Now using a shape builder tool again, the handy dandy tool, we'll go right here and we can actually, oh sorry, we're gonna click on both. Make sure you select both when you're doing the shape builder tool. So now when you go to shape builder tool, you can actually click on alt and you'll notice that the plus sign on my cursor has changed to a minus every time I click on alt. So the minus basically means it's going to do the inverse of what it does when it's on plus, which means it's going to cut out this area. Cut out that area. I'm going to have to zoom in and you can cut out this area as well. So now we got like a nice eye kind of thing. So what we're going to do is we're going to take this, we're going to go to layers. We're going to see where it is. Okay, this is the eye. We're going to unsee it. Now we don't see it anymore. Okay, that looks very scary. Now we're going to take the pattern that we made. We're going to take the eye that we made and we're going to put it right there. That looks cool, right? So this is about it from my part of the basics, and I hope you all understood majority of everything that I taught. Maybe not all, and we've got a few more minutes left. Maybe we can maybe if Hariharan wants to continue, we can go ahead with that.
Guys, if anyone have any doubt, you can ask now.
Okay, I guess nobody has any doubts. Hari, you wanna continue?
Yeah, fine. Okay, so thank you, Slade, for completing the first part of our workshop. So hello guys, so we have successfully completed the first part, that is the basic tools and other important controls in Adobe Illustrator. The next section we'll be looking into logo designing, but before that let me talk a little bit about what logo designing is actually. So the first stage of any logo designing is understanding the theme or the requirement. So what is basically understanding a theme or the requirement? That's the main reason for a logo designing is to make a proper brand mark for your product. Hence, it is very important to understand what essence do you want your logo to convey to the customers. So this is the first thing that you need to understand before designing the logo. The next stage is the ideation or the rough drawing. Guys, it's really important to go through this stage before actually making your logo on any designing software. This gives you a rough idea of how your logo will look like. This ideation stage can be achieved through various methods like making a rough pencil drawing, like what Slade did. He had a rough pencil drawing and he dragged on shapes onto that, like that. Or you can make paper cuts, or you can even draw simple the lookout of the logo on paint tool, etc. The next stage is understanding the proper way. Guys, you would have seen that Illustrator has a very broad kind of application, so it has a lot of tools. One logo can be made in different ways. So what happens is a single logo can be made using various tools in the same designing software. Hence, it is pretty important to choose the best way. In this hands-on session, we'll be seeing a few different techniques to logo designing. The next stage is designing. This is where we actually use different graphic designing tools, colors, images, shapes, etc. To design your final logo. And guys, the final stage is the representation. Guys, we all know that a single logo is used for various different purposes. For example, take the logo of Apple Mobile. The same logo is used as the mobile finger lock sensor, the website icon, in the branding banners, etc. Therefore, for the various different applications, we need to have different representations, right? So we'll also be seeing this stage in detail in the end of this session. So these are all the stages we need to complete to achieve the final result of a logo design. Now guys, the final question that many of you guys will have is why Illustrator is to be used for logo design. Guys, Slade has previously mentioned that Illustrator is one of the best vector designing tool available today. We also saw that the example of the Apple logo and its wide application. The fact that vector logos are highly scalable is the main reason we use Illustrator for logo designing. So guys, let us now start with the hands-on session. I would like to suggest one thing. Guys, if you are working on a computer, then please do use Alt-Tab to switch between Zoom and Illustrator. And please do stop me wherever you feel like I'm moving quite fast. Okay, so on to Illustrator. So guys, first of all, I would like to go to File and open this logo designing AI format. So that was given on the Assets 2 drive link. So you can open that right here. You can click on the Open button right here. So guys, in this template, I have already created a few logos. So you see, you can see 4 logos right here. So this may be not visible in your template. So what we'll be doing is, these are 4 different logos and the way we are going to design them is totally different. So I am going to teach you 3 different ways to make logos. So these 4 have different applications. How we are going to use Illustrator, we'll understand in a short while. Okay, so let us start with the first, this Fox logo right here. Guys, before starting with the session, I would like to show you few hotkeys that I will be using continuously. So guys, if you want to zoom in and zoom out, the hotkey is Alt and scroll up or scroll down. So guys, wherever your mouse pointer is, the screen will be zoomed to that point. Okay, and the next hotkey is space and mouse. Okay, so if you press space, keep it pressed, and if you move, you can like pan this window. Okay, so the next thing is, let us understand how this Fox logo looks like. So guys, this Fox logo looks like a circle. So the first thing we need to understand is how the logo is made. What are the like shapes used in the logo. So the first thing we see is this circle right here. So first I'll go to my artboard here. So guys, these white boards that you see here are called as artboards. You can use many artboards if you are working on different projects. If you are making mobile UIs, you can use different artboards to create different like screens. That's it. Another thing is, guys, first thing you need to go to this layers option right here. Okay, so you'll be having this thing called as Hariharan layer. You need to make a new layer. Okay, you won't be having this layer 7. This was created recently by me, but you will be having this layer 8 right here. So you can create a new layer 8 like this. And then the first thing we saw is the ellipse, right? So we go to this ellipse tool right here. Okay, and then we make a ellipse. Guys, if you are not holding shift key, this will move in a random motion, right, like this. So if you hold shift key, it will snap to the circle. Okay, so you need to hold the shift key. Okay, and then release the button to get this circle right here. And the next thing we see in this logo are these two different stripes. So how we are going to make that? Okay, so these look like a very heighted rectangles, right? So we go to this ellipse tool right here. We go to the rectangle tool, and we randomly make two rectangles. Make sure that the height is quite big than the circle, and the width is quite this much. Okay, so there are two rectangles right here. So what we'll do is we'll make a copy of this. Okay, as Slade told, you can do control C, control V, so it will make a copy. But the hotkey for making a copy of any shape on the Illustrator tool is Alt. So you need to press Alt, okay, and you can drag a copy. So this is a copy of the same thing. Then while making the logo, I have given this rectangle a 45-degree inclination. So how to make this a rectangle 45 degrees? So you need to click that rectangle, go to the transforms right here, and you see this rotation like thing, like the angle thing right here. Make it 45 degree. Okay, then you need to bring it on this circle. Now guys, there is something called as the smart guide. So if you have not enabled it, you can go to Windows. Oh sorry, you have to go to view, and you have to like check this smart guides. So what is smart guide exactly? If you go to any shape, you can see the different things, like this is the path, and if you go right here, this is showing anchor. So it will show a few lines, like you can align it with things. So to align this rectangle with the circle, we'll drag it. Okay, and you see this intersection right here, place it right there. Okay, the same we'll be doing with this rectangle, which is aligned at 145 degree, sorry, 135 degree. So we'll transform it to 135 degree, then we'll drag it to the same point. Okay, the intersection. Oh, wait a second. Okay guys, you have to drag it to the center point. Okay, not intersection. because the circle has its center over here. So the same with this, I drag it to the center. Okay, now this is pretty perfect for our Fox logo. The next thing we need to do is we need to remove this part. Like, this background is brown, but this part is hollow right here. So how to do that? For that, we'll be using the shape builder tool. Okay, so click on shape builder, but before that we need to select this whole thing right here. Okay, I selected the whole thing. Now go to the shape builder tool, and the things that you want to delete, you need to hold Alt and drag a line over it. You can also click on the object if you want to delete it, or you can even drag. Okay, now we need to actually merge these three parts, right? 1, 2 and 3. So what we'll do for that is we'll drag a line over these three things. So okay, so Adobe Illustrator merge these three things. Then we have to delete these four things right here. So for that, press Alt and delete each each single part. Okay, so this was all about the circle thing. And the next thing is, you can see that these corners are not pointed, whereas in this we see the corners are a bit pointed. So for that, what we need to do is we need to select the whole thing right here. Okay, and then we need to press Control so that we see these circles right here, and then drag it as per your convenience. Okay, so this is quite large, so I need to make it a bit smaller. Okay. So this is quite good now. The other thing we can notice here is that the fox head is quite upright, so you can see it is quite elevated. So what we need to do for that is we need to use the selection tool and we need to increase this head part right here. So for that, it's very simple. You need to just press shift and you need to drag it up. That's it. Guys, you need to remember that if you are not using shift, this will go to random angles, but we need to use shift for now. So this is quite good for the fox and its head. The next thing is the nose right here. Guys, if you observe it properly, this nose is not another different object. It is actually a hollow thing on the head. So what we'll be doing for that is, firstly, we'll be creating the nose. So if you see this properly, this nose is quite similar to the head. So what we'll do is we'll make a duplicate of this head. So click Alt and drag this. Make sure this pink line is observable. So next we need to make it small. So press shift and make it smaller. Okay. So this is quite good, right? So the next thing is the coloring part. Okay, so Aditya Kumar Singh. So you wanted to know about the curve thing, right? So yeah, okay, the edges. So what we need to do is you need to select the whole thing like this. Okay, the whole object. Okay, so the whole object is selected, right? Then you can zoom a bit. Then keep the control button pressed. Okay, keep the control button pressed and you can drag this. Okay, like this to adjust the curve. Okay, did you understand, Aditya? Is it fine now? Okay, so we'll move on to the next tool. So this is pretty good. We need to apply a bit of curvature right here because this is quite pointed, and so we again press Control and drag this in. Okay, this is quite good now. Now we need to remove this nose part from the head. So for that, first let me color this. So guys, for coloring, I'll be using 4 simple steps. Okay, 4 simple steps. So the first step is press V to get the direct selection tool. Like if you are holding a pen in your hand, if you press V, you will get the mouse selection tool, or you can go here and click this. The second thing is select the object that you want to be colored. The third thing is press I. Okay, if you press I, you will get the eyedropper tool. You can also go here and check this out. The final thing is select the color that you want. So guys, in logo designing, the colors are actually a combination, right? So you see this orange and yellow right here. So they are color combinations. So these color combinations are predefined. You get it on many websites, right? So this is a combination that I got from a website. So I'll be using this color. So you need to click this orange. Okay, so you'll get this orange tool. Now you see that this shape is complete, but we can see the nose right here. So for that, there is something called as Pathfinder right here. So we need to select these two things, go to Pathfinder, and you need to click this button right here. This is front minus back. So what it does is, if there is a shape in front of another, it will delete that part from the back shape. You need to press this. Wow. So we got this space enabled. So we got this right here. For now, I'm going to give this no color because we need to work more on this fox right now. So the next thing we see is these ears, right? To make these ears, we'll be using the pen tool. But before that, let me drag this right here. Okay. So I'm going to zoom it. And to make ears, we select this pen tool. Okay. Sorry, this pen tool right here. And then we'll be making the ears like this. Okay. If you see, after putting this pen tool will remove its dragging property. So you can make another ear right here. You can see the smart guides, right? So you can use those smart guides to align your things. Okay. So this is quite good now, right now. The next thing is we need to make this ears quite curved, right? So for that, you need to use the curvature tool. Click that thing and drag it out. Similarly for this one, click and drag out. Click, drag out. Click, drag out. Okay guys, so another thing is this ear seems to be a bit not good shape. So we need to go to this direct selection tool. So the basic difference between selection and direct selection tool is that direct selection tool allows you to select a single point. So here I am not selecting the whole object. I'll be selecting only this single point and I'll drag it, say this. Okay. So you can align this like this. Now it's looking good. Okay, now we need to merge these shapes. For that, we need to again go to shape builder tool. But before that, select the whole thing. Okay, and then use the shape builder tool to merge this. Okay, this was quite good. Now we need to make those yellow parts over there. So we go again. We use the pen tool. Click on this anchor point into somewhat here, here. And guys, if you drag this pen tool is not leaving this point, right? So for that, you need to click escape. Okay. Then again, we repeat the same thing. Press escape. And now guys, if you see, you cannot see that this part right here is not a different shape. So to make it a different shape, what we'll be doing is go to the shape builder tool. Okay, sorry, before that, select this whole part right here. Then go to the shape builder tool and then click on these two parts. So what this will do is this will create these two parts as different shapes. So the final thing is coloring part. We need to follow four simple steps. press V, select the object, press I, select the color. Press V, select the object, press I, select the color. Okay, again press V, select the object. You can also select multiple objects at once by clicking Shift key, then I, and then yellow color. Okay, now this logo is looking pretty good right here. One simple thing that I would like to do here is, okay, that's perfect. Now we need to make this brown background. Okay, for that we need to go to this rectangle tool and drag a square. So hold the Shift key so that it's a perfect square. Okay, then again click on I to select the color, and we got the brown color. Now we need to move this to the back layer, right? So one thing which Slade mentioned is going to that arrange right here and then moving it to back. But another different technique is a hotkey, Control Shift and the square bracket, opening square bracket. Okay, so it will move the layer to one back. Okay, so this is perfect. Now I would like to group these things. Okay, so I select all and I'll press Ctrl G. Okay, you can also go to object and group them right here, but I am using Ctrl G. The next thing is we need to align both this one and this part. So for that, click on this object, then the background, then click on this horizontal align center, and then on vertical align center, which is here. So this is quite aligned right now. So this was our first logo. If you want, you can make changes to these. Okay, this look pretty good, right? So guys, if you have any doubt regarding this logo, you can ask on the chat section. I'll be waiting for a few seconds. If you want to complete your work, you can do that. Guys, do you have any doubt? Please ask me. Okay, so we'll move to the next logo. Okay. So this logo we had made in this layer 8. So guys, if you want to lock it to the layer, you just need to click here. So this won't move anymore. Okay, you can rename it by double clicking that layer 8 option. Okay, quite good. The next logo we'll be looking at is this tortoise logo. Guys, there is a small time restriction, so this logo is going to take a lot of time. So what I'll suggest is there is a YouTube link for this logo. I have already set up the environment. So what you need to do is you need to just watch that YouTube link and you can make this tortoise at home. So I'll explain what this is actually. So this may seem pretty familiar, right? So this is the golden ratio squares. What nowadays people are doing is they are using the golden ratio squares, the circles, to make logos. Okay, so this logo which you see right here is made using golden ratio. So this circle right here, these edges right here, this one, all are made using different circles. So why do we use golden ratio, guys? Everyone know that there is this fact that golden ratio is something which looks pretty good, right? All the things which are there in the world which are in the golden ratio look pretty nice. So we use golden circles in today's world for making different logos. So this is one type of that. So you can try this at home. I'm leaving this to you. The next logo we'll be seeing is this swan right here. So guys, as I told, the second stage in logo designing is drawing a rough work. So I have drawn this right here. I have placed this. You can go to file and place any image on this artboard if you want. So I have placed this previously. Now what we need to do is we need to just trace these curves. For that, we'll be using the line tool. Guys, this line and pen tool are the most used tools in vector drawing. So we'll be using pen tool. There are two different ways of using a pen tool. For this logo, we'll be seeing the easiest way, which you all guys can use. And this one, you will need a lot of practice, but you can start it right now. So guys, let us go to layers and create a new layer. I'll be naming it as the Swan logo. Okay. So guys, it is always a good practice to make a new layer as soon as you are making something new, or a different logo, a different screen, anything. So guys, I'm zooming a bit. Okay. Now I'm going to select this pen tool. So guys, the way we use pen tool is you need to first analyze different anchor points. Like this one you see right here, this is called as one of the anchor points. So you need to click it right there and go to the next anchor point. So this also is an anchor point. So I'll click there. So guys, what we need to do is we need to click all the anchor points. No matter it will be a square image, we'll make it curve afterwards. But for now, you need to click all the anchor points. But before that, make sure that the fill is none and the stroke is black. Okay. So use your pen tool and click the anchor points. So this is another anchor point. This is another anchor point. I'll be selecting this as another anchor point because this curve right here, this S-type curve, is a big curve, right? So to get a perfect curve, you need to use more anchor points. So I'm using another anchor point here, one here, another one here, and like that you can join all the anchor points. Guys, it's up to you which points do you want to use as anchor points. If you want to use less anchor points, it's up to you. Okay, so this is not looking that good, but we'll be using this curvature tool right now to make all these lines curved. For that, zoom a bit, click and drag. Again, click and drag. Click and drag. Again, click and drag. So this is what you need to do for all these lines. Okay, you can adjust this point right here. You can use this point here, you can use this point here. I always use the point where it's the largest curve. So right here, this one right here, and you need to do this for pretty every curve right there. You can zoom a bit, make it into curve. And this final curve right here. Okay guys, so this was all about the curvature tool. But now you can see that this curves right here are not that smooth, right? So for that, there's a special tool. You need to go to this shaper tool, uh, click right click mouse, and then use the smooth tool. So what smooth tool does is, wherever you use the smooth tool, it makes the anchor points smoother. So I'll zoom in a bit. And guys, you need to just use a rough, okay, sorry, before that you need to select the object and then go to smooth tool and like this. So guys, you saw that this anchor point there got shifted to another point where it became more smoother. So you need to do this for every single curve right here so that it makes them more smoother. Okay, guys, you saw this curve became very smooth. You can do this for 2-3 times if you want to make it more smooth. Then here a bit, here and here. So guys, I am quite good right here. So the next thing is we need to make these two things in similar way. So we'll go to pen tool, draw lines. Okay, then we go to the curvature tool, click and drag, click and drag, click and drag. Then for this nose right here, go to pen tool and make the anchor points. Then go to the curvature tool, click and drag. Okay, so that was all about the pen tool right now. So this is quite done right now. Now we are left with the coloring thing right now. So for that, we go to the selection tool, press V, select the object, press I, select the color. Again press V, select the object, press I, select the color. Okay, then again press V, select the object, press I, select the color. Okay, now we need to make a background black. So before that, I want to unsee this background right here, this the rough drawing part. So we need to go to layers. So I have put it in the Hariharan layer. So you need to unlock this, and then the swan you need to unlock it again. And here you can see this layer. Just unsee it. That's it. So you cannot see this white part because the background is also white. So we'll go to this rectangle tool and make a square. Okay, and then we'll press I to select the color. So this is done. Then we'll press Control Shift and the square bracket so that it goes to the background. And then we'll group these three things: the beak, the body part, and this small feather. And then we'll group them. So press Control G. I'm feeling this a bit inclined, so I'll turn it around. So guys, this is our third logo. We can align both these to center like this. Okay, if you want, you can move this a bit here. Okay, and then you can do this curvature thing right here. Okay, this looks like a pretty good logo right here. This looks like a pretty good logo. So this was our third logo. The second logo is also a bit easier. If you have followed this, this was pretty easy. The second logo is also similar to this. The next thing is the elephant logo. So for the elephant logo, we'll be using again pen tool, but now we'll be using a different technique used in pen tool. So before that, let me go to layers and lock this layer and lock this swan logo and create a new logo, a new layer. So I'll name this as elephant logo, elephant logo, and then we'll be creating our new logo right here. So the way to use pen tool is create a point and then move this. You couldn't see anything because I create only one single point. So we'll create 2 points, hold this, and you can drag it like this. So we get ready-made curves. We need not use the curvature tool again to make new curves, right? So this is pretty much less work, short time, but this is pretty difficult. You need to master this. This will go another way like this. Okay, so this pen tool again creates a new curve, but if you don't want a new curve, you have to click this anchor point again, so you get a straight line. So guys, this is what we'll be using for making this elephant, but before that, make sure the fill is none and the stroke is black. Okay, so now the same thing we'll be doing, we'll be selecting the anchor points, but we'll be making curves at the same time. So I'll zoom a bit. Okay, now we select the first point, then the second, and we drag this a bit. Oops. So somewhat like this. I feel this is better than this curve, so I am using this curve right here. Okay, then it makes another curve, but we don't want it, so I'll be clicking here again, then I'll zoom in a bit and then make another curve. Okay, zoom out a bit, it's making another curve, but I don't want it. I'll click this again, then I'll make another uh, anchor point, but guys, I'm not making it right here, I'll be making it right here. I'll be making a pointed curve right now, because a pointed anchor right now, because I'll make this rounded shape afterwards. So I'm making a pointed curve. Okay, a slight curve, then click the anchor point again, drag another line, the anchor point, then I'll select this as another anchor point, make this curve, and then actually this is a smooth curve, right? So for smooth curve, you can use this pre-defined curve. So you can press it here. So it automatically creates this smooth curve. So then we need to click this anchor point, and similarly we'll be completing this whole object. Okay, I'll pan this a bit. This is a smooth curve right here, so I'll be using the predefined curve. Pretty much fine. Then this anchor point, then I'll be clicking this again, another anchor point, then this smooth curve right here, then I'll be using this predefined curve. I'll be making this a pointed edge right now, then I'll be making this curve, then this curve, and I'll click this again and make the final curve. Okay, so the final curve turns to be a straight one. So now you can actually go to the curvature tool, and if you want some things to be more curved or you need to adjust, so you can do that pretty much well with the curvature tool. So this was all about the use of pen tool. So this is a bit advanced use of pen tool. So you can use it in the previous way, like we drew the swan thing, but this is also a way you can use. Then we again go to the smooth tool, so you can see that this part of the curve is not that smooth. So I'll smooth this, and then these parts are not that smooth. I'll smooth those. Okay guys, so we are done with this body part right here. We'll color it right away. So press I and select this color. Then we need to curve out that eye. But guys, before that, these points are quite pointed. So what we'll do is, we'll use the direct selection tool and we'll click on individual points and drag them. Similarly, this one right here, This one is already curved, so I need not do anything. This one I can, okay, sorry. So you need to click this before dragging, otherwise it will drag all the points on this shape. Okay. Similarly, this one. This one. And it's done. So guys, this was all about making those points a bit curved. The next thing is making this ear right here. So we'll be following this again. Guys, if you have any doubt regarding pen tool, you can ask right now, because I can show it better with this ear right here. So the color is pre-selected, so you need not color it again. I'll make a curve right here. Then I'll use the curvature tool to make this a bit curved. So that's it, guys. This was all about the ear part. And then now we need to make a small hollow part in this body part right here. So we use the ellipse tool. We'll make a circle. That's quite big. Make sure you are pressing the shift key. Select this eye and move it to the proper place. Then select this eye and then this body part. Go to Pathfinder, press front minus back. So we got the eye part. Now I need to unseat this part right here. For that, I'll go to the Hariharan group again. I'll go to this elephant and I'll unlock it. And then this part right here, I'll unsee this. Okay. I'll lock this again. Okay. So now we need to make this background part. For that, we'll select the rectangle tool. Make it a square by clicking Shift. And then you can use I to select that color. And then to move this to the back, press Control, Shift, and square bracket. So guys, this was pretty much all about the elephant logo. You can group these things. You can align them. Okay. So guys, if you have any doubt regarding anything, regarding all these three logos, you can ask me right now, because after this I'll be moving to the representation part. Guys, if you have any doubt, please ask me.
Hari, I don't think anyone has doubts. You can move forward.
Okay, fine. So the final part of this session is representing a logo. So here are few representations made by me. So guys, what happens is when you get a contract or you get a job, you have been given small descriptions from your customers or your clients, right? So what you need to give them is some sort of like a template, like how you can have this font right here, so that your client can select a better one, or it can be used in different parts, right? So this right you see here is another type of representing a logo. This is the same color and the same thing, but it's a different representation. So like that you can make these things. So I'll quickly make a similar one for you. So I'll pan this. I'll be using these two things to make here. So I've selected both these things. I'll press Alt and I'll drag it right here so that it makes a duplicate. I'll hold Shift and I'll make it quite small. Okay, now I'll align it with these squares. Then what I'll do is I'll make this like this, and then this elephant is quite big for the logo, so I'll make it small. Make sure you are holding shift key when you are doing all these things. Okay, the final thing is making text. So Adobe Illustrator also has the text tool right here. So this is called the type tool. You can use it. Need to click right here and you can type the name of the logo. Sorry, need to select this. You can increase the font size to 50 maybe. Okay, this is good. I'll be using this maybe. This looks quite good. Guys, this is what I was talking about previously. So this is a color combination which is quite famous, right? So these color combinations you will be getting it online, so you can use the place tool to place these things. Okay, so now I'll be giving a proper color to this text right here. So it is similar to giving color to a shape. So I'll be using I'll select this color maybe, this looks pretty good. Place it right here. Then I'll be making another text for the travels part. Now this travels is white in color, so I'll be using the eyedropper and giving it a white color. The text size is smaller, so I'll give it say 30. And then right here guys, you will be seeing this character right here. Click on the character. So this box will open and then you see something, this VA part right here. So it is something you can set tracking on. So you see these travels, these characters are moved away, right? So for that you need to increase this VA part. So what we'll do is we'll keep this as 500 maybe. Okay, so 500 seems pretty good. We'll align this. If you want, you can select both and you can make them centered. Okay, then we can drag it here. We can adjust the width and height of these text by using the direct selection tool. So guys, this was all about representing the logo. So this completes the second part of our workshop. So guys, if you have any doubts, even now you can ask me. Another thing is there is a small assignment that we'll be giving you guys. So what you need to do is, so you see that we have drawn quite a lot of animal logos right here. Yeah, you can draw this logo quite later. So these are quite good animal logos. You can also make animal logos of your own, your idea, or you can go to different sites. You can go to YouTube and you can make animal logos. And what you need to do is you need to make something like this, a representation sheet like this, and you need to send it to us, right? So how to send it to us? So you need to send a JPEG file or a PNG file. Anything is fine. So for that, go to File, go to Export, Export for screens. Okay, so make sure these 4 screens are not selected. Only the 5th screen is selected. Or if you are making a new document, a new file, you need to select that part of the document. And here, okay, so at first you will be seeing formats in this form. You can actually go and make it 4x so that it becomes more large and it is more qualitative, then you need to choose the folder where you want to save it. I'll save it at any logo. Okay. Oops, sorry. I'll select this folder and then I'll click on export artboard. So now you can see that it is stored on my desktop. So now if you open this, wow, it looks quite good. Okay, so this was all about the representing part. So you can make your assignment and send it to us. We'll be telling you where you need to send all those things. So this ends up with my logo designing part. If you have any doubts, you can ask us on the WhatsApp group or you can contact personally. Okay, that's it. Thank you.
Thank you, Hariharan and Slade. It was indeed a great session. Thank you for all the participants to turning out in large numbers, and I hope that this workshop is beneficial enough for you to start on something great with your own creativity. Lastly, thank you for all the ACM members for putting in efforts and executing the event smoothly. Guys, do please fill the feedback form, which will be circulated in your WhatsApp group, and stay tuned for the further events. This is Athira Lonipan signing off.